going to do a quick walkthrough for our Tic-Tac-Toe app here. So the first thing that we need to do is define our main activities layout, and that's simply going to be a relative layout, and in there we're going to have 9 image buttons that are arranged here, and a title that's simply going to be a text view. And then at the bottom here we're going to have another 3 text views that are inside of a second relative layout. Taking a look at our main activity.java here, we are going to debug into this, so I could just step through it one line at a time here. So the first thing that we're going to do is obviously set the layout to that layout I just described, and then we're going to set the win and loss buttons to the corresponding values for those. And then we're going to set up this image view array here that's going to contain each of the 9 images arranged in a table. And then we're going to loop through each button. And following this pattern that we have here, we're going to get each one by its ID, and we're going to get a resource ID from that. And using the resource ID, we're going to initialize each of these image views and put them into our multidimensional image view array. And then we're going to call setOnClickListener, and we're going to pass in this custom click listener that we're going to define below. And that's going to handle a lot of the keeping track of a lot of the values for each button. So after we've done that, we're going to initialize our board, which is another custom class that we have. And so in our board constructor, we simply pass it in our image view array that we just defined, and that's just going to save it as a global variable for this class. Alright, so now that that's all defined, we can start playing the game. So when a user clicks a button, this onClickListener is going to be called. And so the first thing that we're going to do is increment a click counter so that we can tell how many of the buttons have been clicked. And then we're going to use this board's insert method, which is defined right here. Yes, right here. So the first thing that we do here is we're going to check to see if the spot that they clicked is currently empty. And if it is, we're going to start by setting the user, the current active user, to that spot on the board so that we can keep track of that. And then we're going to get the image button using this resource ID that we got from the click listener, and we're going to set it to the corresponding resource so that we have the X and O in that spot. And so at this point, we need to check if that move has resulted in a game over. And so we have these check methods. So the first one is going to check down. And if we go into here, it's simply going to loop through that column and see if all of them are for that user, pretty much. So just going through here real quick. So at this point, that resulted in false because obviously there wasn't 3 X's at this point. Now we're going to do the same thing for check right, which is a pretty similar algorithm. And then we're going to check the diagonals, which if we look at it here, is simply just if statements for each item that's along the diagonals, and it's simply going to see if there's 3 in a row at any point. Alright, so that's pretty much the game here. So if we go back to our listener here, so after we're done inserting, we're going to also check. So the game wasn't over, but we're also going to check to make sure that it wasn't a tie. So we're going to check and see if the click count is greater than or equal to 9, which it isn't, and so we are done with that. Alright, and so as you can see here, the game works as you would expect. So you can play it as normal. And once you have game over, it's simply going to restart the activity here, so you can see. All right, and that's about all. Thank you for watching.